Good morning. Today we have a book review. This is something new that started, so let me give you a bit of background on the whole book review idea. The book review idea came to me because my primary job, I can have headphones. And there's only so much music I can listen to, so I listen to a lot of books. Audible, if you're listening, I use you a lot. So a what is that? A sponsor would be amazing. Maybe later when I actually have some subscribers and stuff. But so the first book in this is going to be the Unplugged Alpha. This is a very quick 200-page intro to the red pill. Red pill is primarily a male orientated way of thinking. The way that it came about is from the movie The Matrix, where you take a blue pill and you go back into society and you go back to your normal conditioning and you think that it is and everything's hunky dory, or you take the red pill and you leave the matrix and you can see the matrix for what it is. I'm not going to get into that because my day job, I work around a lot of women, and the last thing I need is for them to find this channel and me talking about this crap, and then I end up in HR, and then I end up looking for a job. So, there ever comes a time where I don't need a job, I will join the Red Pill content makers because I have lots of opinions and lots of stories on this subject. But anyway, this is a I'm going to recap here a little bit. This is a really quick 200-page intro to the Red Pill, female and male dynamics, and dating in the modern world with all of its troubles. If The Rational Male, which was written by Rollo Tomasi, is the Old Testament, I would venture to say this is the New Testament. The Unplugged Alpha is absolutely phenomenal. Here it is. I actually read it in one session over Christmas, and it took me less time than the Ken Block Yule Unicorn Yule log thing. So, anyway, the author of the Unplugged Alpha is a man by the name of Rich Cooper. He's an entrepreneur up in Canada, drives an R8, is bald, has an epic beard, and he runs a YouTube channel called Entrepreneurs in Cars. I'll link that below, along with the Amazon link to purchase the book. Rich Cooper is very prominent in the red pill space. He is also personally responsible for me not being zeroed out in my second marriage. Uh, he's also personally responsible for me getting over my second marriage as quickly and as efficiently as I did. Great, 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 great subject matter if you're a guy. So, who should buy this book? If you are new to the red pill and on the fence about where to start, I can honestly say start here. Then go to the rational male, and then go down the rabbit hole. Or if you're like me, you can spit the red pill back up, go back out in the dating world, figure out that it's all true, and then come back with your tail between your legs and start listening to the start going through and learning how to navigate the marketplace in its current form. Even if you're not new to the red pill, I would still say purchase this book. If you are not new to the red pill, I would say, depending on where you are in your journey, anywhere from 50 to 85% of the book will be review for you. For me, I've been a subscriber of Rich's for 3 or 4 years now. For me, it was about 85% review. There's some stuff in there that is invaluable, and I'll get to the invaluable parts a little bit later on. but the book is divided up into sections, and each section is, depending on your goals and where you are, each section has its own validity. But these are the top three for me. This is in no particular order. The first section of the book uh, should be required reading for all men prior to graduating high school and going out into the sexual marketplace. Uh, this is this is a section of the book called Female Primary Social Order. Basically, women are the prize, you are expendable. This chapter does a wonderful job explaining the current situation that we are born into, or if you're older like me, you were forced into. This chapter, it is explained that women are the protected class and men are second class citizens at best. This can be explained simply by how we are treated in the courts, with lesser sentencing for the same crime depending on your sex. Women receiving reduced or no jail time for statutory rape, i.e., teachers having sex with students. If you're a guy, you end up in jail. If you're a woman, you might end up in jail, but usually you end up with probation depending on the state that you're in. Then there's the case of a man who was accused of rape, found guilty, sentenced, served 10 years in prison. 10 years of his life gone. And DNA evidence ended up, because DNA wasn't available at the time, but they still took samples and everything. And then as DNA testing became available, he was then exonerated from the crime of rape and set free. But his accuser, who falsely accused him, is still free with no punishment whatsoever. Then you have my own trials and tribulations with this. So my baby mama, my first ex-wife, the mother of my child, has had several instances of child abandonment, uh, putting my kid in the foster care system, my kid ending up in the foster care system, and it still took me over a year to get my visitation back with him, because she said that I abused him. Now, this is completely and totally false. My kid told them it was completely and totally false, that my ex-wife was crazy and retarded, but still, it took them over a year to figure out that she was crazy. So basically, the point of this chapter is if you have a penis, you're guilty. Period. End of story. The next chapter that is really good, and this chapter, so the first section, the female primary social order, and this next section, it's called Red Flags, is the reason why I purchased this book for my kid. If you're older like me, I've been in the dating game, and I've had my fair share uh, of dates and sexual experiences and everything, and I have my own list of red flags that I go through and pay attention to. And actually, most of them are actually in this list of red flags, but I didn't have this to go by. I had to learn this shit the hard way. And so this will stop you from having to learn it the hard way. Hopefully, you will probably still have to learn a couple of them the hard way, but it'll make it more succinct. There we go. This chapter alone would have prevented my first marriage from ever happening. This chapter will save lives. This chapter is pure gold. If you don't have personal experience with this stuff, read this chapter, eternalize these red flags, and watch out for them, especially when you're young and your little head is your primary head. Guys, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of the red flags he touches on are daddy issues, feminists, and single mothers. As someone who has been back in the dating game for a few years, admittedly, the last year or so has been monk for my own personal reasons, but that's all right. The single mother's red flag disqualifies something like 90%, 95% of all women over the age of about 19 or 20, which is really sad because almost everybody is a single mother nowadays. If you ever go on the if you ever go on dating apps, which are just a dumpster fire of stupidity and recklessness, and just it's a dumpster fire. Almost every single one of them is a single mother. So, and the last chapter, this last chapter is the one on the divorce. And he explains so well what happens to men in divorce. To quote the author, this chapter is 110% just one giant truth bomb. I've been through the divorce machine twice, once with child, once without. Also had multiple child support trials, hearings, whatever the hell you call it when they come in and they readjust your child support because the baby mama seems to think that every 3 years she deserves more money. This, if you are even contemplating the idea of having children, buy this book. Buy this book, get this book, and read the one on divorce. Also, he has a couple chapters in there about vetting for long-term relationships. Pay attention to that one too. But the divorce one you want to pay close attention to. You should read this chapter if you are planning on getting married, want to have children, or want to participate in a cohabitational LTR. I would venture to say even having a female roommate is questionable depending on the laws. I actually haven't heard of this happening, but it wouldn't surprise me if it does. My second divorce, I almost ended up in jail because of abuse allegations. This seems to be a recurring theme, and I don't understand why. But my second wife accused me of abusing her. 100% false, just throwing that out there. Thankfully, the cops realized she was lying, at best lying, or at worst lying, at best exaggerating, because there's a gigantic size discrepancy. I'm 6'3", 6'4", between 230 and 240 pounds, and I lift weights regularly, so and my ex was like 5'5", 5'4", somewhere in that area, and like 120, 130 pounds. She would have had marks if I'd been abusing her. Thankfully, she did not think ahead like the female example in the book. You're going to have to get the book in order to get that example. Anyway, this is an invaluable resource material. Just being able to sit here and look up red flag number 15, pathological liars. You could spend hours on YouTube watching videos, or you could just pick up the book and read it. He is working on an Audible version of it. I'm not sure when that's coming out, but like I said, buy the book. It's a great book. In conclusion, even if you're like me and have been subscribed to Rich's channel for 3 or 4 years, you will still get a lot of value from this book. Just having it as reference material and easy to find, it's well worth it. So anyway, check out the book. Check you guys on the next one. I'll be putting these out. So My main video comes out on Monday every other week, and then the Friday on the week that I don't have a video will be when this one comes out. So there'll be a video every week. I'll just be Monday or Friday, depending on the subject matter. So hope you enjoyed it. Check you guys on the next one.